Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Andy. Today we will be replacing the belt tensioner on my 2015 Seat Leon Cupra ST280 with the EA888 2.0 TFSI engine. Let's first unclip the Serpentine pipe, as we need a little bit more wiggle room for the breaker bar to release the tension on the belt. As you can see, space is pretty tight, so we need all the room we can get. The breaker bar, I was able to clip it behind the aircon pipe, and which kept it in place, so it was in this case very easy for me to undo the belt and also put in the locking pin, which makes sure that the tensioner won't move if we remove the belt. On this video it's quite hard to see where the locking pin actually sits or goes, but once it's seated I will get a close-up shot for you, which makes it a little bit more easy to understand where the locking pin actually sits. And with the locking pin in place, I was able to get this close-up shot, which shows the locking pin in its place. With the locking pin in place, I can now show you what tool I used to release the tension of the belt tensioner to put the pin into its place, and it's this small 3/8 or 10mm small breaker bar. Time to remove the Serpentine belt, or the poly V belt as VW calls it. As the tension is released, it's very easy to remove. The only hard part might be the routing behind the crank pulley. Don't worry about routing. I have a picture from the installation manual a little bit later in the video, which shows the actual belt routing. It's very easy, but again I will show you a little bit later in the video. And after a bit of a struggle, the belt finally comes out, the old belt. And here you can see the belt specifications. Also, I will be replacing a detailed picture with the exact specification a little bit later in the video. I suspect this was still the original belt. The belt tensioner is secured with 2 bolts. This was a bit of a struggle, as you need to find a tool which fits into this limited space. First I tried with the breaker bar, as you can see here, but in the end I used this L-shaped T45 Torx bit. I then used a socket, a 3/8 socket, and also an extension to increase the leverage on the T45 bolts. The first socket seems to fit perfectly, and now all we need is the extension to give some extra leverage on the bolts. Let's try this tool out. Again, the space is a little bit tight, so it's a little bit fiddly. Let's see if we can get it to work. There we go. All in all, not bad, but it seems I need a little bit more leverage to actually break the bolts loose. So I grabbed another extension bit to increase the leverage on the bolts. Let's try this again. After breaking the bolts loose, you can remove them by hand by using any T45 bit. And that is one bolt extracted successfully. The other bolt I let it fall to the ground, so we have to find it underneath the car. Now you can also wiggle the belt tensioner out of place and listen to the state of the bearing. If the bearing makes any noise, you made the right choice by looking at this video and replacing the belt tensioner, so good job. Before we continue, I need to find the other bolt, and again it should be right underneath the car, but you never know. Ah, there it is. Let's give it a quick clean, as we don't want any dirt or debris entering the threads within the engine block. Let's look at the old versus the new belt tensioner from INA Schaeffler. and see there are some small differences. As you can see, the INA part has a captive nut into the housing, and from the back it looks identical. I bought this INA Schaeffler FEAD kit, which also comes with a new belt, but I opted for the Continental ContiTech belt, as this is pretty much the only supplier I trust with my belts. As you can see, the original belt tensioner also had a lot of dirt on it, meaning there's an oil leak I need to address. Before we do the installation of the new belt tensioner, always make sure that the area is clean. I simply use some brake cleaner together with a rag, and of course some shop air also helps a lot. This is an optional step, but I usually add some medium strength thread locker to the two T45 bolts. You only need a little bit to make sure that these bolts are secured in place. Don't overdo it. Let's get the new belt tensioner in place. In the top left corner you see the diagram from the workshop manual, which shows the actual orientation of the belt tensioner. Time to put the bolts in place, and as always with these things, start them by hand to make sure we're not cross-threading them, as these are threads which are in your engine block, of course. Time for the second bolt. Take your time. Time to torque the bolts. I of course used my own special tool, so to speak. The bolts should be renewed according to the workshop manual, but I opted to reuse them. Official torque specs is 8 Nm and 45-degree angle after the 8 Nm. Let's repeat the good and tight torque on the second bolt. Time to install a fresh Serpentine belt from Continental or ContiTech, which are the OE supplier for VW. If we look at the specifications of the OE and the aftermarket belt, we see that there are very small differences. The length is only 2 mm longer for the original belt, which should not make any difference once you fit it. Specifications can be seen in the bottom of the screen, and I also promise you the belt routing, which is very simple, as you can see right here. Pause the screen if you need to. Let's install the new belt. As we just removed the belt from its packaging, the belt might be a little stiff, and as you can see here, I'm wiggling around the belt a little bit to get it to loosen up a little. Let's first start it with getting it around the crank pulley. That is also the hardest part of routing this belt. But with some extra light and a little bit of fiddling, you should be able to route it right around the crankshaft pulley. Guide it under the belt tensioner pulley and over the alternator and the aircon pulley. And we should be almost ready. Let's double check the belt routing before we remove the locking pin. It's easy insurance to prevent any belt shredding, for instance. Time to grab the mini breaker bar again. And using the captive nut on the housing of the belt tensioner, I'm able to release the tension on the belt tensioner and removing the locking pin, as we can see right here. Let's wiggle the breaker bar a little bit and remove it from the belt tensioner. And do a triple check just to see if the belt still sits correct in place. And under the correct tension, of course. Everything is looking good, meaning that we can proceed to the final test, which is starting the engine and checking if the belt sits in place and everything runs correctly. And this looks absolutely perfect. Good job. Everything is okay, meaning that we can put everything back, and we're almost at the end of this video. Let's first start by clipping in the aircon hose again. Time to get the upper part of the reservoir. Of course, let's clean it before we put it back. The upper part uses a guiding rail which is attached to the car, which makes the installation very easy. Search for the guiding rail and then gently wiggle it on. It's very hard to see in this video, but you will feel once the upper part falls into the guiding rail, and then it's a matter of just pushing down with a little bit of force and the upper part slides into the bottom part of the reservoir. A single 10mm bolt holds the reservoir in place, which screws into the mount for the upper engine mount. Let's top up the reservoir again. In my case I caught the leaking fluid earlier, but you can also use new fluid, of course, that's up to you. In my case, after pouring it in, I cleaned the filter, and that is the end of another DIY video. Please leave a comment if you like this video or if you have a question about this procedure. Thanks for watching, I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see everyone in the next video.